Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk, Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Never know, just like, evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Real leader don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I burst up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quit fun. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright.
Let's start creating your look. If you haven't already done so, download the GameFace HD app. Scan yourself and get your face in the game.
Both friends wanna come with me. Good things always come in threes. You got you walk out the doors. You show me what that in for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got cool in the vibe. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she work at Sephora. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have the backtrack. Not gon' fact, you right. You right, yeah. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have the backtrack. Not gon' fact, you right. You right, yeah. Back and forth, like, don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, like, but this your man still back at home.
Let's start creating your look. If you haven't already done so, your hairstyle says a lot about your look. Let's choose yours.
If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have the backtrack. Not gon' fact, you right. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk, Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up.
Beard, scruff, or clean shaven, your path to facial hair greatness starts here.
I'ma roll up. Then I burst up like
Now it's time to decide what kind of player you want to be. First, let's choose your player type: guard, wing, or big.
if you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have the backtrack. Not gon' fact, you right. Yeah. Never ever give a clue what you really trying to get into. Both friends wanna come with me. Good things always come in threes. Can't let you walk out the doors. You show me what that in for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got cool in the vibe. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she work at Sephora. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling
Now,
too important.
let's define your style of play. This will determine the impact you have on the court.
When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have the backtrack. Not gon' fact, you right. You right, yeah. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have the backtrack. Not gon' fact, you right. You right, yeah.
Now it's time to decide what kind of player you want to be. First, let's choose your player type: guard, wing, or big.
Don't know what you asking for, but just back up on me like but this your man still back at home, he ain't that important like you ain't really
Now,
like that.
it's time to choose your player's height and weight.
When you put it
Every
like
choice you make here will affect your player's physical capabilities, both good and bad. So choose wisely before you lock in.
You right. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk. Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Level up just like, evidently you don't. Little boy ain't no chump. Really don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I post up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quick fun. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack. I gon' flag, you right. You right, yeah. Never ever give a clue what you really trying to get into. Both friends wanna come with me, good things always come in threes. Can't let you walk out the doors, you show me what that for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got cool in the vibe. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she work at Sephora. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack. I gon' flag, you right. You right, yeah. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack. I gon' flag, you right. You right, yeah. I ain't back and forth, like, don't know what you asking for, but just back up on me, like, but this your man still back at home, he ain't that important, like, you ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before, you like, when you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack. I gon' flag, you right. You right, yeah. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk. Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Level up just like, evidently you don't. Little boy ain't no chump. Real hitter don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I post up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quick fun. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack. I gon' flag, you right. You right, yeah. Never ever give a clue what you really trying to get into. Both friends wanna come with me, good things always come in threes. Can't let you walk out the doors, you show me what that for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got cool in the vibe. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she work at Sephora. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack. I gon' flag, you right. You right, yeah. put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. I ain't with the back and forth, I ain't back and forth, like don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, like but this your man still back at home, he ain't that important, like you ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before, you like when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back, you right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk, Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Level up just like, evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Real leader don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I post up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quick fun. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Never ever give a the clue what you really trying to get into. Both the friends wanna come with me, good things always come in threes. Can't let you walk out the door till you show me what that in for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got a quarter to five. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been when to hit her from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian, they say she working so far. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. I ain't with the back and forth, I ain't back and forth, like don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, like but this your man still back at home, he ain't that important, like you ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before, you like when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk, Mama told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Level up just like, evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Real leader don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I post up like dumb. When you gon' give up, Keep it real, girl, quit front. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Never ever give a the clue what you really trying to get into. Both the friends wanna come with me, good things always come in threes. Can't let you walk out that door till you show me what that in for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got a corner to five. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she work at Sephora. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Back and forth, like, don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, like, but this your man still back at home, he ain't that important, like, you ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before, you like, when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right, if you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright, I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back, you right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk, Marvin told me never. Certain things to start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Level up just like, evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Real hitter don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I post up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quit front. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Never ever give a the clue what you really trying to get into. Both the friends wanna come with me, good things always come in threes. Can't let you walk out that door till you show me what that in for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got a corner to five. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she work at Sephora. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. back and forth, I ain't back and forth, like, don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, like, but is your man still back at home? He ain't that important, like, you ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before, you like, when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back, you right, you right, you right, you right, you right, yeah. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all this silly talk, Morgan told me never. Certain things to start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Level up just like, evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Really don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I post up like dumb. When you not gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quick fun. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on fact, you right. You right, yeah. Never ever give a clue what you really trying to get into. Both the friends wanna come with me, good things always coming through. Can't let you walk out that door till you show me what that in for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got a corner to five. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been when to hit her from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian, it's like she work at Sephora.
Like millions of other kids, you dreamed of one day being in the NBA. You wanted to be a star, and someday to rise above and become the greatest to ever play. You dreamed of being the one. But the road to stardom is never easy. There are obstacles, injuries, and disappointments. Adversity is universal. It can happen to anyone at any time. And one day, it happened to you. You went from being a guaranteed lottery pick to a kid who may never even play college ball again.
Now, look, it's always bad to hear about injuries, especially to college kids, of course.
Yeah.
But Stephen A. Smith, this one is particularly disheartening because we are 2 weeks into the season and one of the top NBA prospects in the country goes down potentially with a season-ending injury, a knee injury. That's a killer.
I couldn't agree more. When I heard he was carried off the floor today, all you can do is find yourself hoping that he'll make it back. That's the bottom line. But my heart goes out to him because I didn't expect this. It's a devastating injury. It's never good to have something like this happen to you.
The team doctor broke the news. Torn ACL, sprained MCL, and a torn meniscus. Surgery was scheduled, but your game will likely never be the same. At the 2016 NBA draft, your name is still mentioned. Not as a prospect, but as a cautionary tale.
Now, there's another huge story in this year's draft. A record number of underclassmen, 30 of them, undrafted. And I hope, anyway, that this is a lesson, this serves as an example to college players. I'm not talking about the ones who are genuinely one-and-dones, the guys you know are going to be lottery picks. I mean the rest of them. They're not sure shots. You're not sure they're going to be lottery picks. Don't just use the college system for a year thinking you're going to bounce. It doesn't work like that. If you don't have the talent, it doesn't work. You got to be cultivated in the system.
Please. There you go again with your blanket generalizations. You know how you are, oh, Max. The woe is me. Oh, my Lord. I can't take it. I just can't take it. It's a case-by-case basis. You can't just blanketly decide this should not be one-and-dones or this should be one-and-dones. You got to go on a case-by-case basis. Some dudes deserve to be one-and-dones. Some people don't. It's on a case-by-case basis.
And that is my point. Thank you for making it for me. Every kid thinks they're the exception to the rule. And members of the media like, Stephen A. Smith, are encouraging these kids to come out early.
Look, Max, bottom line is this. You got to take this into consideration. You had two dudes. They were called the Height brothers. Now, you had Nick Howard. This kid had a lot of promise. What does he do? He goes to college. Very uneventful first year, no doubt. The second year, he was pretty good. Here's the problem. The NBA, it's not about pretty good. You need to be great on the collegiate level, on the prep level, in summer leagues and what have you, in order for you to get the stature that you deserve. That's the bottom line. Pretty good ain't good enough to be that
That's my
stud
point.
NBA. How
That's
is it
exactly my point.
Let me finish. There's another example. I did say the Hype brothers. I wasn't talking about one individual. I was talking about two. What happens? One and done in a different way. 1 year, one ACL injury later, and look where he's at now. His future is clearly uncertain. So you got to take advantage of that opportunity because you never know when an injury is going to cost you everything.
Stephen A., listen to yourself. Let's listen to yourself for a second. You give one argument for why a kid should come out early, a one-and-done situation. I can give you 30 arguments this morning alone why they should stay in school. And now you have to wonder what a kid like Nick Howard, who has given up his college eligibility, does next. What does he do next?
First of all, don't sweat the technique. The argument, or one argument, as long as it's strong enough, that's all that matters. That's number one. Number two, the Hype brothers was something special. What they really, really need to do. I'm going to tell you what they need to do, Max. They need to get back to playing together. My sources are telling me the ACL injury has been completely healed. So go on a pro-am circuit. Go in summer leagues. Do what you got to do to get back on the court together to remind everybody of what you once were. Because once you pull that off, the sky's the limit. That's what they need to do. Get back to playing ball together, because when people see what you can do as one, the other arguments don't really matter. Like I said, don't sweat the technique.
I ain't with the back and forth, I ain't back and forth, don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, but this your man still back at home, he ain't that important, you ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before, you like, when you put it like that, you right, if you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright, I'm about to have to backtrack, back on fact, you right, already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all this silly talk, Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Never know, just like, evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Real leader don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I post up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quick fun. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on fact, you right. Never ever give a clue, she really trying to get into. Both the friends wanna come with me, good things always coming through. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got corner to five. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she work at Sephora. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on fact, you right. When you put it like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on fact, you right. Back and forth, don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, this shit, your man still back at home. He ain't that important like you ain't really seen it like that before. Not like that before. You like when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that. You right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right. You right. You right. You right. You right. Yeah. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk. Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Never know, just like evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Real hitter don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I burst up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quick fun. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right. You right. You right. Yeah. Never ever give a the clue what you really trying to get into. Both the friends wanna come with me. Good things always come in threes. Can't let you walk out that door till you show me what that in for. Not trying to mess up the vibe, but you got a corner to five. Say that she feelin' my aura, but never been with a hitter from Aurora. Cause she is Salvadorian. They say she working so far. Everything going accordingly until she started feeling too important. I couldn't do nothing for her. Before shorty left out the door, she said, when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right. You right. You right. Yeah. When you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right. You right. You right. Yeah. Back and forth, like don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth, like but this shit, your man still back at home. He ain't that important, like you ain't really seen it like that before. Not like that before. You like when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, alright. I'm about to have to backtrack, back on back. You right. You right. You right. Yeah. Already know what you want, so why you keep hitting my phone? Thought you was with it before, just wait till I get in my zone. Stop all the silly talk. Marvin told me never. Certain things that start to pick up on. You cannot trick me, the jig is up. Never know, just like evidently you don't. No, the boy ain't no chump. Real hitter don't say nothing. I'ma roll up. Then I burst up like dumb. When you gon' give up, keep it real, girl, quick fun. When you put it